All right, let's get this party started. David L. King, aka DavidXRPLion. We are back for part 4, and I've labeled this information, Fiat is dead. And for those of you with eyes to see and ears to hear, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The reason why I brought this video up today, it has some really important information for those people to be able to discern the left from the right from the wrong, the true from the untrue. And this is what this is going to do. The talking heads are getting nervous because we are coming down to the final moments with regards to everything taking place before the EBS alert goes off. Why is that so important? The fiat currency system has already been destroyed. It has been turned off. The nodes, its ability to transfer and submit information, dead. Trump and the alliance have taken over, and as of the evening of July 10th, there's no longer any connectivity for the fiat currency system. On the 11th, everything was transferred over, 100% live, active, and moving forward in our new quantum financial system. And it's got them running scared. Why? Their days are over. But we still have people out there putting out the FUD. I call them the talking heads. And they're doing it for their own personal self-interest. And everything is going great. I had some plans to work on something else that I had talked to you previously about in part 3. But let's just jump into part 4. And let me show you what this is all about. This post came out today on Twitter by Dominic Kettner. I don't know who this guy is. I took a look. It said translated from German. And he puts out this price claim, $744 per ounce of silver. And he says, no, that's not a typo. That's the real inflation-adjusted all-time high when you take the true money supply, M2, into account. M2 is the metric for all the money that has been created out of thin air in recent decades. When you factor this in, it becomes clear just how massively undervalued silver is. The gap between reality and price will close. The only question is whether you will watch it or profit from it. Then I saw that there was an additional post, and this came from Reddit, and the article is entitled, Why He is One of Germany's Most Dangerous YouTubers. Apparently he's a metals dealer, and he uses his channel and his YouTube to, again, bring that fear into people's minds to buy inflation-adjusted metals. And here's his chart, historical chart in German, showing gold or silver at $744 an ounce. Now, you have to be so careful about who you're following and what you're listening to and what you're allowing your eyes to see. Why? Because there's so many people out there that have already sold out for the money, their wallets and their egos, and they don't care about the truth. The truth is not in them, so they can't give us the truth, right? Everything I've shown you with regards to silver is the truth, and the truth prevails. That's why his price claim I'm taking head on with the lawful definition, which I've been educating everyone on with regards to the price of silver. So here's what we have. This exhibit, price claim versus lawful definition. Market narrative. His claim is what's considered a market narrative versus a statutory authority. And there's his quote again. And I'm using this, right? Market narrative, price claim, fiat framework. And that's critical that you all understand this. He's speaking from a position of the fiat monetary system. That monetary system is no longer relevant. It's not going into the quantum financial system. That's the whole reason why the XRPL with XRP as the master key was given to us by the one and only, the creator of all things. It was created out of time and given to us in time, just in time, before they could take us all out. So what I'm trying to help everybody understand is you have to be so careful that if you have no idea where they sit in terms of the information that they're providing, that's why I spend so much time and I always qualify what I'm discussing. I'm discussing the quantum financial system. That's our new monetary system, where every currency of the world is pegged 1-to-1 to the US dollar, the treasury, backed by 100% gold, asset backed, and it's our new currency standard. Okay, we're not going to the gold standard. That was the fiat, Federal Reserve, Gazarian Mafia, bankers, banksters program, where we never knew if we had the gold or not. Trump and the alliance, using the executive orders, 13818, 13838, 13838, no, 13818, 13838, 13848, 13959, seized all the gold out of the Vatican, out of the tunnels. It's all been repatriated. It's been assayed. It's been blockchain identified. And it's been stored safely to back our new monetary system. And it's a global system, everybody. It's global. Every country is debt-free now. All that debt was paid off by the Asian elders. They were the bankers to the bankers. So understand whether they're coming from fiat. I mean, people should really have to disclaim, oh, I'm speaking from a fiat framework. Well, even if they know about the quantum financial system, it's not fiat. So it's a false narrative. It's the market mirage that I talk about. And you can't just jump on board and go, yeah, silver's going to 744. Why? Because when you do that, you join that fiat narrative. Now, I've used evidence code section 210 and 350 to be part of the framework to look at this false market narrative. And what are the callouts? It relies on M2 money, monetary aggregate, policy defined variable. It assumes fiat expansion defines value. Well, that's already gone. It's dead. It's not going to happen. Inflation and devaluation were all done under the fiat expansion. Going back to 1913, going back to 1871 when we were made chattel under the District of Columbia Organic Act. Okay, this narrative, this false narrative, produces statistical extrapolation. It's not the definition of a unit of measure. There's no statutory unit of account identified under Section 210. It doesn't even begin to prove or disprove lawful silver value. And under Section 350, its probative value substantially outweighed by risk and misleading inference regarding lawful value. So what is all this saying, David? It's saying, again, it's a false narrative. It's all based on a fiat-controlled monetary system. And that is gone. That is dead. We are stepping into the quantum financial system. 100% gold asset-backed currency standard. All the gold is already there. 10 to the 450th power and beyond. Enough to back everything that's taking place. See, XRP on the XRPL being the master key is the reason why fiat is dead. It was never about cross-border payments. That was the narrative to help disguise it and hide it, keep it safe. Its narrative it destroyed the fiat currency system. And you've heard me talk about that in other videos. Here's the statutory authority. This is what we had covered in the prior Silver Boom videos. Statutory authority. It's the lawful weight framework. And again, we use the other evidence codes. What are the callouts? Well, let's look at the quote first. The dollar shall contain 371.25 grains of pure silver. And that's defined in the Coinage Act of 1792, 1 Statute 246. So it establishes the fixed statutory value of a unit. It's the immutable, meaning never changes, in stone, weight definition. Fineness is treated as manufacturing variable, right? We said it could be 0.9, it could be 0.999. That's done in manufacturing. The unit definition precedes price formation. So all of this had to come first. This doesn't change. Doesn't change. And it's exactly what we're going back to in Nasara. In the prior video, you saw how I tied the 1792 Coinage Act to Nasara from 107th, 108th Congress documents that we have that were part of getting the information out without them committing treason. So what's the relevance under Section 210? It directly proves the lawful definition of money. For him to say silver is $744 based upon inflationary adjustments, well, that's not a lawful addition. That just identifies the fact of how damaged the price of silver was from a market perspective, not a money perspective. And if you are just seeing this video for the first time, please go back and watch the prior videos, part 1, part 2, and part 3, so you can see how everything flows and it's consistent and it identifies where silver's going. And it's going to get there in a hurry. It's doing it right now. And then under Section 350, it's admissibility. It's high probative value. What does that mean? It means in a court of law, you can prove it. It's definable. It's measurable. So there's virtually no risk of prejudice or confusion. So then I just summed it up. You can read through the slide. You can see on the left-hand side, we have the fiat framework. On the right-hand side, we have the statutory act of Coinage Act of 1792. You can see what the findings are. You can see the evidentiary distinction. See, I'm not just making statements here. I'm giving you the law, the definable law, coming from the Coinage Act, which is then being restored through Chisara. And here's the source at the bottom, derived from U.S. statutory coinage law 1792 and immutable weight definitions. This all proves how bogus this is in terms of where we are at in real time and in truth. The only way this would ever be of any value to anybody is if none of this had ever happened back in 1792. We weren't moving into Chisara. We weren't moving on to the quantum financial system. There would never have been XRP. There never would have been cryptocurrency. Fiat price models, inflationary price adjusted projections constitute economic commentary. Another word for commentary, opinion. What happens under the statutory authority? Statutory weight definitions constitute probative monetary evidence. Inflation adjusted pricing, informational, non-determinable commentary. Meaning, any talking head can turn around and tell you, gold's going to go to this, gold's going to go to that, silver's going to go to this. Why? Because they're giving you inflation-adjusted pricing based on a system we are no longer in, and we've already moved out of it. We're just simply waiting for the announcement that everything has been switched over and has been taken care of correctly to avoid nefarious acts. And that information could drop any day, any minute, any hour from this point going forward. January 11th of this year was the day. It was the call-out day. It was the day in the video that I did, part 2, where I said, or actually in the Kennedy video, where I talked about how the executive order number 11110 carried forward to January 10th. So come January 11th. So come January 11th, things were going to happen. And they did. They have. But you got to go back and watch those other videos to get caught up. Because you can't just keep reiterating everything from the prior videos in the new video. So I need you guys to do your homework too. Okay? Price projections derived from inflation metrics or monetary aggregates, in this case, his claim M2, constitute economic commentary, not lawful value evidence. So everything he's saying does not support lawful value evidence. It's like hearsay. The Coinage Act of 1792 and its verbatim reformation of the 107th and 108th Congress Chisara drafts defines the dollar exclusively by a fixed weight of silver, 371.25 grains pure. There's no way around it, everybody. It is what it is. But be careful who you're listening to. Make sure you're not falling into that trap of using someone talking from the perspective of the fiat world, the Federal Reserve System, IRS, BlackRock, BIS, WHO, WE blank, etc. Models predicated on fiat money expansion, they lack all statutory relevance and probative value. meaning it's just one person's being a talking head. There's no value in what they bring to the table. But see, if their reason for doing it is self-interest, because they're in the marketplace of selling silver and gold to the public, well, then that's what you got. You got somebody hyping something up, trying to get somebody to look at the price of silver right now at over $90, saying, oh my gosh, it's going to go to $744. Oh, can I buy silver from you? And they're saying, oh yeah, you can buy all you want. How much do you want? Wolf in sheep's clothing. And again, the only reason why I did this video today was because of that post. And I wanted everybody to make sure they knew where it was coming from. It's coming from the fiat world. I decided to throw in a slide that I picked up right before. You can see the time on the slide, 7:54 p.m. and what's going on with the price of silver. And I went ahead and adjusted it for the price at that moment. Put in the new points to show you what's taking place. Now, if you don't understand how charts work, and you're not 25-year technical analyst in using trading patterns, don't worry about all these ABCDs. But if you are somebody who at least has the basic understanding and knowledge, then it'll mean something to you. And we are in the final intermediary ABCD move. And it perfectly takes us right up to the target, which is the atomic weight for silver. And back in video 2, that's where I prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's where it's going. And if all the narratives are talking about all the banks that are getting wiped out in their short positions, so be it. It's just part of the narrative, folks. Trump and the alliance are in control of everything. They own all the banks. There's no private ownership of banks anymore. All the banks are pulled in under the U.S. Treasury Department. So again, mirage narrative. What you know versus what you see can be two different things. And that's what this presentation does. But I'm not doing this to tell you run out there and buy silver because it's going to here. That's not the purpose of this. This is for educational purposes only. Okay? Now, if you're holding silver and you're getting ready to dump it, you're in that sweet spot. Why? Because people were dumping silver back here because it wasn't doing anything. Well, this was just the first layer of support based upon the ratio of 371.25 grains of pure silver to 480 grains of silver for 1 ounce, 1 troy ounce. That's covered in video 2 on my Rumble channel. So you can go over to at DavidXRPLion, find my Twitter page, and you can scroll down and find the videos and the links. Just make sure that page is me. I've got many, many people that are impersonating me, and I'll just leave it at that. Okay? And then one last note. I talked about this debt clock graphic in part 3. This was supposed to be what part 4 was all about, but this is going to be part 5. And what I'll talk about is everything coming through the debt clock right here, all this. It just visualizes fiat distortion, and it doesn't define money. This doesn't mean anything. None of this means anything, folks. This is taking a fiat perspective and distorting it before your eyes with beautiful graphics and words and pictures, trying to give you an understanding that they're trying to tell you where it's going. Silver to gold ratio. These numbers are bogus. Absolutely bogus. But it has a lot of people tied in. It's keeping them managed. I'll put it that way. So the core error is they're trying to derive money from markets instead of deriving markets from money. So what do we know? You know, if we took this illustration to court and this was our evidence, what would the court find? It's propaganda. It's not monetary proof. And it can't survive legal, mathematical, or statutory scrutiny. So what is it worth to you as a viewer? Nothing. No, I think it's pretty cool because it's graphically laid out very well. I'm a graphics guy. You know that. But from a monetary standpoint, doesn't mean anything. It's just a pretty picture with a bunch of numbers. That's why I stopped doing decodes on the debt clock after I realized what was going on there. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this. Continue to prepare and be ready for the EBS alert. It's coming. We just don't know when, but it is coming. And things have been moving along at breakneck speed. And I'm not here to put out the information about what is being reported in the markets about that. It's just not worthy of my time right now, which is best spent making sure that you're not looking at things that you think are telling you one thing and I'm presenting something different. So again, David L. King, aka DavidXRPLion. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation, and we'll see you soon.